someone has decided that he actually wanted to like go on vacation and stuff, and he wanted to like enjoy time before match week 1 could kick back in for Major League Soccer. Traditionally, the last half hour on Thursdays, we go to Seattle. We find out how many cups of coffee our buddy Nico Moreno is in, what mug he's using, and what he thinks about what's going on in Major League Soccer. So it is that time, 10:35. Nico Moreno in Seattle.
What's going on, SDH family? John, it's been a while. You are right. I am a selfish person. I really try to get on board on Thursdays. There was always something happening. I was either at a mountain with zero signal or at a beach where it would have looked absolutely terrible to be on with you guys. So I decided, you know what? Let's leave that last good memory of me be what is going to hold down the spot, my position on the field that I'm hoping Coach John doesn't take me out forever. And here I am, ready to go.
All right. So first off, how was vacation, brother? Because we saw some photos of you and that mountain that was in the back of one of those photos. I just had this vision of you trying to hold up your cell phone, trying to give us a call on a Thursday.
That was one of the days where I was actually right up there. That's Monserrate is the tallest mountain in Bogota. It's a very touristic spot. It has a very old and known cathedral church at the top, and you go up in a telesférico, which is like this cart on cables that a lot of people either you like it or you hate it. And it was a great time. We did absolutely everything. I took my in-laws who were Mexican all around Colombia, went to Bogota, showed them all the best spots. I got to see the Botero Museum, which is something that I had not done, and that was amazing. We went to Cartagena, the islands of Baru. I mean, we just did absolutely everything we wanted. I got a nice tan. I had some good food. I honestly, it was amazing. I cannot complain. Everything went absolutely perfect.
Good deal. All right. So now that you're back up and running, Jarrett's in for the sprint. And first question, Jarrett, I will let you ask the first question for Nico on Nico's first time back in 3 weeks. What's on your mind?
Okay, well, because it's your team and you have a fun new toy to play with, what's your first impression after the first game, really, of y'all's fun new exciting DP weapon of choice?
I thought he was promising. He showed exactly why he was brought in. He made the scouting department look great in a very brief moment, I will say. Clearly, that's got to scare some teams. I mean, right after the game, he said, I'm not even as fast as I should be. I need to get better fit. I need to get moving. And if you saw every time he got on the ball, he was dangerous. He was putting defenders on their heels. He made Ilie Sanchez, who had that look of I have a game at 5 and then I have to go to Premio Los Nuestros at 7. He just made him look silly, right? Just too slow. He got by him so quickly. You could see the excitement, the creativity, the way he's switching the balls. There's a pass that he puts in for Danny Masowski that I think he should have got behind at least to just give it a quick little toe tap, and that's either in or it's a close possibility for Seattle. So it was just promising. You could see exactly why he was brought in. The problem is that the rest of it around it wasn't great. Seattle defensively was a mess. But just to answer your question, I thought Pedro de la Vega looked the part. And not just on the field, but his composure overall. He takes a PK against Hugo Lloris, just walking into the game. First game with your team. You have a whole bunch of veterans in this squad around you. And he had all the composure in the world. He puts it away. He didn't look nervous at all. And then in the post game, we asked him, hey, you were you nervous? What was going on? I mean, it's Hugo Lloris. He doesn't even acknowledge that's Hugo Lloris. And I love that. He just kind of worry about him. This is what I was going to do. I had 3 options. I was either going to go down the middle, I was going to cross it, or I was going to open out my foot. Decided to open out my foot. I mean, the guy just has surprised me on the way he expresses himself. There's a level of maturity within this kid. He might not look it because he has that young look, but he certainly plays and walks around with a very mature personality.
Nothing like a childlike assassin out there out of the blocks when you've got a guy like De La Vega. I mean, the lineup that you had against LAFC, Thomas and Net at the back, Nuhu, Jackson Reagan, Nathan, and Alex rolled on. Midfield 4, Leo Chu, Obed Vargas, Josh Atencio, and Christian rolled on, and then the 2 up top with Jordan Morris as a part of the attack. So you mentioned that the defense wasn't all there when you looked at the starting lineup and then saw what was going on. They give up 2 goals in 10 minutes in the second half, and you lose it 2-1. What was going through your mind looking at that defense that wasn't there?
Even before the goals, I was concerned. I thought it was a really bad game. I mean, and I was probably more critical than most on Seattle's side, just because it was so easy for LAFC to transition from their own half to the final third. It just seemed like they were taking a walk in the park. There was so much open space. The team wasn't pressuring well. But there are a lot of components of why. They had not practiced in this 4-4-2 the whole preseason. They were pressing off of a 4-2-3-1. Obviously, the 4 starters that they were missing were important. Albert Rusnak, Yeimar, Stefan Fry, and missing one, Joe Paulo. So those are big pieces missing. So all of that kind of changes things. I thought in the back end, Jackson Reagan and Nathan, they struggled. I asked Jackson Reagan this week about how difficult it was to play against Boguts, that was playing more of a false 9 situation where he was really bringing them out and allowing a lot of space on the white flanks for either Oliveira on one side or Wanga to get in. So he admitted that he was tough, that he could have done better. So there was a lot of stuff happening defensively that even before the goals, I thought Seattle was fortunate to go at halftime down 1-0. It should have been 2. There's one that Dennis Wanga gets around the keeper. He just puts the ball far too on the outside, and he gives Nathan time to recover and block the shot. But quite honestly, I thought this game was going to be 3-1 or 4-1 at the end of the 90 minutes. What did help was adjustments. When you brought in Pedro de la Vega, you gave this team a little bit of relief. I thought Raul Ruidiaz played very well as a second striker, and that's another silver lining for this team in that game 1. We're not going to overreact. We're not going to do that. But just in the senses, in the general lines of this game, I was concerned. And the only 2 good things about it was Pedro de la Vega and Raul Ruidiaz being very sharp and maybe being a little bit unlucky that he didn't get one in the back of the net. Seattle's going to need that because you saw Jordan Morris. I hate to say it again. I don't want to be that guy. But finishing is not his strong suit. He's a very good player, does a lot of things right, but finishing is just not his forte.
Jarrett, go for it.
Yeah, of the teams from this weekend, I know we're not overreacting, but let's do that. From the teams of this weekend, is there anyone you're really concerned about from just one game that we've seen?
Oh, there's a lot of teams I'm concerned about. That's a good one. That's an easy one. I'm glad you asked that because, like, San Jose, despite them starting off with a goal, they just look like they have no talent. And I was looking at my notes, and so many players out, not enough in. Montero gone, Hopi gone, Trauco gone. All of these players that were some of the talented guys, some that gave them a little bit of a different dimension, no longer there, and they don't bring enough players in. I thought that they got a very opportunistic goal, and after that, reality hit. And I'm just concerned about that team, as well as Austin, that in a very similar sense, we talked about it before. We knew it was coming. It was not surprising, not shocking, but on the field, man, they just look like shark with no teeth, and they're just not scaring anybody with that lineup. Lucky for Seattle, they get to host them this week. Colorado. Again, we don't want to overreact on game 1, but 4-0 at halftime, I mean, makes anyone scratch their head, right? I mean, I don't care if you're Chris Armas or if you are Pep Guardiola or whoever, a coach goes down at halftime with 4 goals, and it's concerning to anybody. So that was tough. I thought that the team looked out of sync. It looked flat-footed, very linear. There was no counter pressure, no pressure. It just seemed like they were out there just for the picture, man. I mean, it was tough to watch. Vines was bad. I thought Stefan was bad. I thought Mihagovic, I didn't know where he was at. I had to keep rewinding and freezing to find number 10 because I just didn't know where he was at. So those are the 3 teams that I think were most concerning because of either how the game played out, or I just don't see how it can get better week to week, at least not into the transfer window of the summer.
And our long international nightmare is over, Nico. Minnesota United has a head coach. He's not there yet, but at least in name, they've got a head coach. Eric Ramsey, the 32-year-old from Manchester United. He is coming over when he's got his work visa all squared away. And now he's going to be the boss in charge. He took a bit of a parting shot at Eric Ten Hag on the way out the door. But you got a 32-year-old who was looked at by, EFL Championship, a couple of different places. And Minnesota United gets a chief soccer officer. Had to wait for a couple of months for the work visa to come in. I guess he was working remotely. Then you have you have 2 substitute teachers. You say you're cool starting the season with a substitute teacher, and now you've got a 32-year-old that, while he's been promising, Welsh assistant national coach, all these kinds of things, he's going to be the new dude at Minnesota United. This is high risk, high reward for Minnesota.
Minnesota screams to me the fans are going to be on edge because they're going to be at mid-table all season long, and they're going to be flirting with making the playoffs or not making the playoffs, and they're likely won't make the playoffs. So they're just going to have fans on edge, trying to get in, trying to figure it out. There's talent there. You could see that there's talent there, like Pookie. I thought Fraga had a really good game. You're still waiting for Emmanuel Reynoso. I thought Lod, he's a guy that they missed last season. He played well. There's things to like, but we've talked about how difficult it is for you to come in late and start to build your soccer foundation and your concepts and what you want players to do. So you're just delaying, and you're allowing other teams that maybe you could beat now to, get ahead on some points. Lucky for Minnesota, they started with Austin, who's worse than they are. So that's just a good start, but then we'll see what happens here on out. I think that talent could bail this team out individually, right? Just moments of brilliance here and there. But they got to hurry up and get it done. But again, if I was a betting man, I said that this is a mid-table team that's going to be giving the whole very wonderful fan base a heart attack on the last day of the season.
Nothing like new heart attacks for our friends at Minnesota. Jarrett, what else is on your mind?
You mentioned the Colorado game. I actually wanted to ask you about the other side of that. Just south of you, Phil Neville has apparently decided to start his revenge tour. I wanted to get your reaction to his early days.
Hey, I was surprised, man. I really was, right? No Evander in this game, no Crepeau. They had to play with Paredes a little bit higher. Asprilla, their 9. I mean, there was a lot of, I don't want to call them nuances, but maybe mandatory movements that he had to do, that he had no choice to do, and he played out well, man. John Rojas from Soccer Bar, he covers Portland on a day-to-day, and he had said that when talking to Neville had mentioned that he thought Anthony was going to be the best player this season, or the best player that he had in the squad, and boy, did he show that. I mean, he was relentless, he was quick, smart on his positioning. Was he maybe given a lot of space, and the defending, was it a little naive? And yes, sure, you can say that. I mean, when you know a guy's going to cut inside and use that same foot to put it away, and you're just allowing that to happen, all right, well, that's just what you get. But I thought Anthony was very good. Santiago Moreno was very involved. I just think that this team, without certain pieces, look really, really good. I could only imagine what they're going to look like with Evander on. David Mosquera is a guy that was really good early in the season last year, and then defending was an issue late. A lot of that could have been because of the struggles of that locker room and with Gio and all of these things. So how good is he going to be this year? He's a national team guy. He's part of the U23 and the senior team for Colombia. So there's a lot of potential there. So I think this team has the tools. I'm not a Neville guy. I'll admit it. I was not. I told you that I don't believe in it. And we'll see what happens here on out, because not every game are you going to be able to cruise control with a 4-0 lead. So we'll see what happens. But in terms of the team general senses, I think it's great. Not to mention that they look a little deep, right? They still got Araujo on the bench. I said a little deep, not very deep. Don't misquote me here. So a little bit. They have some pieces that they can bring in case of some injuries. So I think Portland's interesting. I'll definitely be watching.
LAG, let me ask you about them. They signed Joseph Paintsel on Wednesday. He goes out there and hit fifth gear. I mean, he just dropped the clutch and he went right into fifth gear out of the blocks. And I'm sure that he might have been feeling it on Monday. And then they brought in Gabriel Peck for 30 minutes. I thought it was going to be the reverse. I thought Peck might get the start and Paintsel might come in and give you 30. But Paintsel from the beginning comes in and he put the pedal to the floor. And if Paintsel and Peck and Puig, if the P3, if that P3 that you can get that can help you out and be a very, very healthy snack can be a meal for LAG, Puig, Paintsel, and Peck could cause some problems. And if they don't, it falls on Greg Vanney.
Oh, baby, love that triple P, baby. Look at you putting the narratives together, baby. I love it. Yeah, I mean, that does seem promising, right? I mean, I thought LA Galaxy was the better team around 90 minutes, right? I think if it's not because of Drake Callender and some missed opportunities, because even Pencil had a header where there's no keeper, and he just overthought it, tried to maybe make it look too pretty, and he just misses it. So there were a lot of opportunities for this LAG team. The better news even, or if we think ahead of this game, I mean, they look that good, and they still are waiting for Brockman to get in. You're waiting to figure out Triple P. How is that going to set up? I thought Joveljic was good. The pressing, the constant running, the movement, the way he occupies spaces, the way I feel like he has a really good understanding with Fagundes and Pug. So I like that. I've been waiting for Joveljic to get his chance. This could be the year. Defensively, where they were terrible last season, until the point where Lionel Messi does Lionel Messi things, they held up very well. So yeah, there's a lot to like there because of how bad they were last season, how solid they look, at least in the principles, right? This was a team that at times couldn't even do the most basic things. Play compact when you're defending. Get wide when they couldn't even do that. Get wide when you were in transition. They weren't even doing that right. They didn't really look dangerous out wide with Boyd and other players this time around. Like you said, Pencil looked good. Peck looked good. So when you have those weapons, it just makes Greg Vanney's job a lot easier. Am I here selling you Western Conference champ? No, I'm not. I'm just saying that I see the progress and I see how better they are than they were last season, which I guess we all kind of saw coming.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we did. Jarrett, go for it.
All right, let's take the other end of that coin then, because the team they played has played 2 games in Miami now, and it's been 2 adventurous games. What are we going to get out of Miami in 2024 other than apparently, I guess, theme park rides every week for 90 minutes?
I'm going to continue to hold this flag that says that Luis Suarez is not going to dominate the league and that he will not get more than 12 goals this season.
I mean, he might not walk.
He might not walk, right? So what I mean by that is that I was called a hater, and that you were just saying that because you don't think that the Brazilian league is that good, and he's gonna walk in there and just teach guys how to play the game because it's MLS and the Yanks can't play it.
Because that's all he can do. That's all he can do is walk, and he's having problems doing that.
So exactly, the guy, you could tell he's hurting. You could feel that there's no explosion. Just getting to a ball seems like it takes everything out of him just to get on the ball, let alone to move that rock and put it anywhere he wants. So he is struggling. I think he's going to continue to struggle. We had a bet down here with, I think, Jeremiah on how many games Luis Suarez and Messi would play together, and the under was 10. So we'll see how that plays out, but it really doesn't look great. I thought Campana looked good when he came on. I think he's got it right. It's the obvious choice. He's just not Messi's boy. So, you got to play Luis Suarez, and I get that. I understand that. I know that he had a great season in Brazil, but you got to take it on a year-to-year basis, and he just doesn't look promising. Not just that, but I thought that play was very slow for this Inter Miami team in that Leagues Cup run. I thought that all the other players were very confident. Taylor would take the initiative to take on guys, and there was a certain level of trust. Messi and others in this game one, I didn't see that. It seemed like everybody was a little bit more nervous, scared to not either give the ball to Busquets, who hasn't been great, to Alba or Messi, right? It seems like that's just what the game plan was. Let's get the balls to these outlets, and then you move out, wait for the ball when you're a little closer, and that just wasn't working. I thought LA Galaxy did a good job at having a lot of numbers behind the ball, and there was no room for Inter Miami to put through balls. And if Busquets ain't putting no through balls, you kind of minimize his influence in the game. And that's what kind of happened in this one. So I think Miami is going to struggle. I never bought the super team narrative, and I think you're starting to see it. That does not mean that this team cannot get better, because you got Tata running this team. You have a lot of young talent that I think will come out to play. Gomez, the new kid they just got. I think
coming in. Yeah,
that's right. So all of those players that, in my mind, are gonna play well. It's going to help out this Inter Miami team, but it's just not going to be Luis Suarez, the dominance that everybody was thinking was going to happen. I just don't see it.
It's like, youngin, run. You're going to go play defense. Everybody else is going to be up here. You, the young guy, you go to the back and you run and catch everybody. And we saw that in Saudi Arabia. Noah Allen trying to go like deep safety on the long lobs over the top. And that's what it's going to be all season long. Kromoski, fresh off a hernia surgery, go run, youngin. That's what it's going to be. Literally, that's what it's going to be this season. Let me ask you what you thought about the performance of the replacement officials in week number one. What did you think about that?
I don't think it was bad, man. I wasn't, I did take a long look at it. John Rojas of Soccer Bar, he has been on it, looking at the contract and looking at the situation. So we did talk a little bit about it on Monday. I didn't think it was bad. I thought VAR did a better job than most times, honestly. Now, I'm not saying that we should not get the real refs back. I'm just saying that I thought that the performance of these refs were pretty good. There were times where players maybe try to push the line and maybe try to intimidate a little bit because they know that these guys are replacements, but I thought they held well. There were overturned red cards that were right on the ball. Maybe that the red card for Delgado, that one might have got missed, and I believe that they're gonna overturn that. I can't remember, but I just thought they were good. I thought that the officials, for being replacement officials, they handled things well. They did not allow any game to get out of hand. They were quick to give yellows. I mean, anytime that you're giving Ben Olsen a yellow card, tells me that you're doing your job right. When you're using VAR well. So I thought it was great. I really do. I have no complaints. I watched a lot of games this weekend. I mean, I came on from vacation, and all I could do on my Sunday was just sit there and watch games. So I watched about 8 games, and in none of those did I have any trouble with the refereeing.
Jarrett, where you go? What else is on your mind?
U.S. Open Cup. The reports out yesterday that it's going to be a limited MLS field in U.S. Open Cup. no clue yet. I don't even want to. My brain doesn't even want to start thinking about MLS Next Pro teams. But 8. It sounds like I think it's Jeff Carlisle had 8 teams from MLS going in. What are your thoughts on how this has developed, and if that's what we got, that's what we got?
That's a tough one, man, because I just can't comprehend how you can put a MLS Pro team in this competition, because these are affiliates of your team, and a lot of those are semi-pro teams. So there were talks about it. If that was the case, then an MLS Pro team couldn't get a spot into Champions Cup, and that makes sense. I mean, there's just so many variables that don't really make any sense. And we've talked about it here with John before, where you don't need to call it your MLS Pro team. Just put all your backups and bring up some guys and rotate those guys in a temporary contract in some of these games, because not every team's going to make it far in this competition. You know that. This is a bracket situation. It's a one and done. So just kind of let it roll. I feel like we're over here picking on things that we shouldn't even be worried about. But if that's the case, it's only 8 teams. I know Seattle was reported as one of those that would remain within the competition. No surprise there, because Brian's old school, because Adrian is also kind of an OG of MLS, and he likes that. He enjoys that. So no surprise there. But I just think every team should have the exact same mindset and just let it roll. I just don't know. I don't have enough information to say what happens if these teams are allowed, and if they're going to be allowed to just play with their MLS Pro teams.
And like I said, we don't know what the timetable is on the announcement. They're thinking maybe today, maybe tomorrow, sometime by the end of the week. Apparently, the both sides and the federal mediators, when it comes to the officials, they're supposed to be meeting fairly quickly in short order, probably today or tomorrow, once again, to try to get things done. But it looks like we're going to have another week of replacement officials in the middle and on the edges. When it comes to the matches this week, we can blow through it real quick. You've got Minnesota Columbus. Literally cliffhanger me, all right, because we got a couple minutes. Cliffhanger me and tell me when to stop. Minnesota Columbus, RSL, RSL. Yeah.
I'll stop there just for the juice boxes, like that Columbus game. I would take the high on goals. Columbus is just so much fun, and I feel like Atlanta got that short end of the stick, having to play the best team in MLS, the champs, away from home. They look so good, especially on defense, right? They were so good last year offensively, but they gave up goals late in games this season. They just seemed ready to just change that up. I like the depth. I like the movements by Nancy when Farsi went out, Munsick went in. I mean, just everything about this team was good, right? Matan was on the bench. You put in a young guy in that position. He played well. I just really like Columbus. I'm going to watch them every week, just as I did last season. But I like Columbus there on that one, including the high. LA, what was the other one? I'm sorry.
Well, the number.
I just want to point out that, to your point, of the last, what is it? Last 5 games, the last 6 games that Atlanta United, last 5 games that Atlanta United has played. No, 6 games. Last 6 games Atlanta United has played. 5 of them have been against Columbus. Like, we played them in the second to last week of the regular season, then played Cincinnati, then had a 3-game series, then opened the year. I don't want to see Columbus anymore. I would like to see someone different now.
I wouldn't want to see Columbus either.
No, and to your benefit, Nico, the number flips at 3.5 for.
Oh, I'll take that. I'll take that.
Plus 135, plus 136 is the flip when it goes from minus to plus when it comes to the total for Columbus and Minnesota. RSL and LAFC is another 2:00 start. That's going to be noon at Rio Tinto, and LAFC's favored in that one. And we get the first go-round of Messi and Friends in the Purple Team at 4:30.
That'll be a good one. I really like Orlando City. They're my candidate to win CONCACAF Cup. Can't wait to see Muriel really get in the rhythm of things. I think he's an unbelievable finisher, both legs, experienced, with Maguire. What is he going to do? The talent there, the midfield is so solid. Nicolas Todero is in this role where he'll do absolutely whatever you want him to do. In game one against Orlando, he started as a 10, then Ojeda came on, he dropped back a line. I just think that this team has a lot of depth. I'm still waiting for Facundo Torres to be that X factor. He wasn't in game one. I'm hoping he's in game two, but I just really like what Papi and this Orlando team has. And Inter Miami, they have, again, issues of their own. They have other competitions, and I don't know if they have enough trust in the depth of that team. So I would take Orlando in this one, but it'll be a good game to watch.
Orlando's a plus 330 in the juice boxes for the win, straight up.
Oh, I'll take that.
Okay.
Give me that. I'll lock that down. Absolutely.
Figured you would. Vancouver hosting Charlotte, Chicago hosting Cincinnati, Dallas hosting CF Montreal, Houston and Red Bulls, Sporting in Philadelphia after Philadelphia had to suffer through Saprissa in the second leg and go through all of that madness. So Philadelphia is going to be shorthanded going to Sporting at a plus 231. All caps in NYC, Colorado and Nashville. Nashville didn't have any problems with Mocha. Colorado had problems with Portland. Portland, DC United. Cali Classico, San Jose and LAG. Seattle and Austin. What do you think about this one?
I think Seattle is once again lucky to get Austin. I still like the draw in this one. You're still missing 4 starters for this one. Brian already dismissed the same 4 starters from week 1 to week 2. Nathan is not in Seattle. He's in Brazil doing some green card situations. So you'll see Javier Arriaga and Jackson Reagan in this one. So I'm concerned a little bit about some of the same situations that we saw in game 1. The only difference is that you have Austin, who scares nobody. So that's why I see a 0-0-1 in this one. Raul Ruidiaz was called questionable by Coach Metzer, but he hasn't been full in practice all week. So my guess is that he may be on the bench, and you might start with Danny Musovski or Jordan Morris up top with Pedro de la Vega at the 10, Leo Chu on the left, roll down on the right. That's probably more of what Brian's looking into. But again, if Austin's going to do something in Seattle away with all their issues, is play back, play transition, make it difficult for Jordan Morris to have no space. So I see a draw in Seattle.
Okay, that's at a plus 323 in the composite. Last one on the board, Revs in Toronto. Revs, they play tonight in the CONCACAF Hemispheric Extravaganza. They got a 1-goal lead. And Toronto comes to town at a plus 357 to finish up the weekend.
That's, I don't want to call it interesting, but I will say that one of the games that I watched from point A to point B, from the minute 1 to the end of the game, was the Cincinnati-Toronto, and I was very impressed by Toronto. I thought coaching-wise, this team was ready to just go and earn a point, and they did that, man. They made it difficult for Luciano Acosta to get on the ball. When he did, he had 1 or 2 people on him breathing down his neck. I know that the Cincinnati team was coming from Jamaica. 5 new starters in the lineup. No Bupensa in this one until late in the game. He was dealing with some muscular issues. But still, I really liked what I saw from Toronto. Bernadeschi playing on the right wing as a right wing back. It worked well. It gave them a lot of depth. It was quick. The other guy, Davy Flores. Watch out for this guy. He's going to be very good in the midfield. He's the guy that's going to have to be the new Bradley for this squad. And he looked the part, baby. I mean, he just physical play, smart on the ball, a ton of coverage of the field, his presence, his IQ. Really like it, man. I think Toronto showed me that they can really do some things. And on the other end, the Revolution, I think they don't have oh my God, he got a red card. Vironi. What's the name of this
Oh
guy?
yeah, Brioni, and they're looking to appeal it. Yeah, it was
Exactly. Looking to appeal it, but I mean, he just 2 silly yellow cards in the last game. I mean, come on, just you're better than that. So, other than Carles Hill's beautiful finishes, I think New England is also kind of in a tough position. So, Toronto, I like another draw there.
All right. So, what's going on Soccer Bar and Pulso Sports now that you're back full?
All right, Soccer Bar, we'll go ahead and break down this week. We're going to talk about some of the most interesting things that each one of us saw. We're going to talk a little bit more about Pedro de la Vega, what's going to happen with this Inter Miami team, and are they in a tough position? Are they not? Is Luis Suarez going to have to be bought out at some point? I mean, we're going to talk all things Inter Miami. In Pulso Sports, we have Jackson Reagan talking to us, Javier Arriaga hopefully today. I don't know if you guys heard, but the Seattle Sounders have a new signing today. Osvaldo Alonso's coming in for a one-day contract. We need to bring that out. El Corazon de los Sounders. He's always going to be the heart here. So we're going to have a little bit of a ceremony and a press conference with Osvaldo Alonso today after practice. So check that out. That's going to be on Pulso Sports. I'm excited to talk to him. I'm hoping to talk to Nicolas Odero as well to get some of his takes on his friend retiring and all that. You're going to catch that up Pulso Sports. So don't miss that out.
Class act as always. Great to have him sign the one-day deal to retire in that manner. And I'm still going to try and see if I can get, what was it, Jared, in 85? Was that what Alonso wore, that one match for the twos when he was getting in playing shape?
Yeah, that's the one we wanted.
Yeah, we got to try and figure out a way to get the Ozzy Alonso 85 jersey for the Atlanta United 2 when he was here. Great to have you back, my friend. Glad you made it back from vacation, and we'll get back to it again next Thursday. Have a great weekend and get to it.
Thank you, sir, my friend. I go out with the Juan Valdez mug. You can't see it because it's white.
There you
go. That's the mug, cup number 2 of coffee. Have a good day, guys.
All right, that's Nico. Nico's back. Glad to see it. All right, so Jarrett, gossip, rumor, and innuendo, and what to watch before we go. Don't know if you saw this, but apparently Erik ten Hag is demanding an apology from Fulham over Bruno Fernandes TikTok. Apparently, he's demanding Fulham apologize for a mocking TikTok that they made of Bruno Fernandes and called for officials to provide more protection for his captain. They poked fun at Fernandes on TikTok over a perceived dive in the win at United. And
once again, the LA Galaxy made an entire meme format out of this, but Erik ten Hag's getting all twisted up on it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Worry about the fact that you're not good.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And so he is not one of the nearly 500,000 viewers of the video, wasn't happy it had been published by Fulham, and apparently no offense intended on Fulham's behalf regarding the video that they posted on Fernandes. Had his throat grabbed by Forest defender Felipe late in the win at City Ground and was on the end of a few robust challenges from our friends at Sky. Asked if Fernandes needed more protection, ten Hag said he's a very passionate player, creative, creating the most chances in the Premier League. You see opponents targeting him, especially after Saturday when he had the knock and they see it. Then I feel the refereeing should protect him. So demanding an apology. That's where we are with Erik ten Hag and Bruno Fernandes. So let's roll through the papers and see if we can find any other gossip, rumor, and innuendo before we go. And then obviously what to watch, more to watch it. And everybody's getting ready for weekend play as well. Let's see. Where are the papers? Where's my papers? Trying to figure out what's going on here. You're looking for the morning papers, and of course the Monday morning papers here have already been long gone. So who knows? Let's get into gossip, rumor, and innuendo. Players going where, who's doing what, and who might be chasing after whom, and we'll figure it out as we go. And then what to watch and where to watch it. Liverpool have submitted an initial request to speak with Bayer Leverkusen's Xabi Alonso as they're chasing after a replacement for Jurgen Klopp. Spurs targeting a wide forward as their major summer signing, Pedro Neto, Eberici Eze, the two main. Manchester United is going to make a decision on the future of Mason Greenwood, currently on loan at Getafe, by the end of May. That's the three-letter paper. And it appears that Javier Tebas wants to keep Mason Greenwood in the league. So we'll keep an eye on that. Arsenal, Manchester United, Chelsea interested in signing German keeper Dion Ramage of Ajax. Dele Alli's Everton career could be revived later this year as they are open to handing him a new deal. Yeoman's son happy at Tottenham with formal talks on a new contract. Barcelona president Joan Laporta would welcome Xavi staying in the role, reversing his decision to leave the club at the end of the year. Liverpool will look to sign Brentford's winger Brian Mbeumo for a bargain price if the Bees are relegated. Portugal's Rafael Leao has been linked with Barca, but says he can't leave AC Milan. Jorginho could return to Serie A when his Arsenal contract expires in the summer. The league that we neither condone, endorse, nor promote, targeting a number of Premier League stars in the window, as well as younger players such as Argentine forward Matias Sula, currently on loan at Frosinone from Juve. A second-tier side in Saudi Arabia has made a lucrative offer to a former Spain midfielder Sergio Roberto, but the Barcelona captain would prefer a move to MLS. That's from Mundo Deportivo. I'll give you one guess as to the club that he wants to go to. Beat 2, 3, 4. Correct, that one. Messi and friends. Brighton's going to get a record fee for a 14-year-old after a tribunal ruled Chelsea has to pay up £4.25 million for Shamira Mahuka, who's currently 16, signed in 22. And Michael Edwards would want complete control before considering a return as Liverpool's sporting director, which would likely mean a move for Bournemouth technical director Richard Hughes instead. So that's what they're chasing when it comes to the news of the day. What to watch, where to watch it, and how. Remember, tonight, you've got the tail end of the CONCACAF Hemispheric Extravaganza, and that is New England. Remember, New England playing tonight. They're the only match Sunday afternoon. So soccer on TV. It is Copa Libertadores at 5 and 7:30 on BN and BN in Espanol. And what you can do is get Fanatis, if you don't have BN already, fntz.co/soccer down here. Helps out the network, helps out the show, and helps out our friends at Fanatis and really get you into all the other places that you haven't seen matches. BN, TEC, For the Fans, CDO, Gold TV, Liga 1 Max, all those places. BN and BN in Espanol simulcasting. FS2 has New England and Independiente at 8:10. They've got the league without CR39 playing at noon. Fox Deportes, French Cup at 2:45, simulcasting that league at noon. ESPN Plus has the Belgian Cup at 2:40, Copa del Rey, Athletic Club, and Atletico Madrid at 3:20. Paramount Plus, 3 matches in the Argentine Copa de la Liga, 5 and 2 at 7:15. And then VIX is simulcasting the CONCACAF Champions Cup once again at 8:10. And that is New England and CAI. Basically, it's Independiente. So you got that. And you've got the debuts and key matches that has been posted by our friend Jillian Sakovitz. And that link is in the Discord. It is in the Twitch pitch. So it's Jillian, Kleshchin, TT, Kalen Carmet, Doyle, Danny Higginbotham for 3 minutes and 49 seconds. For an hour's worth of stuff. So it's a full hour with all of them. And this is MLS. It's now up and running. And Jillian is trying to host the cast of thousands for that particular program. Once again, Abby mentioned in the Twitch pitch, hoping for the announcement today about what's going on with the supporters groups. Keep an eye on that. And also for those in supporters groups, looks for the sign up to help out with the TIFO. My buddy Tuck wants a TIFO. Get him a TIFO. Yeah, Abby, it's so sad about Risa. Yeah, we had that. I have that as required requested reading out at the Rockdale Citizen. It's a great deep dive, and it kind of breaks everything down with what's going on out there in Conyers. Four Card, thanks for hanging out with us as you always do. I hope we can pull out at least a draw versus Manchester City in the Manchester Derby. And so there's all of that. Once again, remember tomorrow, we will get you ready for what's going on. Our friends at Beyond Goals joining us at 9:30. Stephen Glass, the head coach of Memphis 901, joining us at 10 o'clock. And 10:30 or 10:20-ish, 10:30 will be the weekend whip around, patent pending, trademark coming. Sooner, hopefully, rather than later. And we'll go through all the matches of the weekend to get you ready for it. And we will roll from there. So it'll be another week of talking stuff. That's the official term. We're getting that much closer to the first home match for Atlanta United. And we will discuss all of that starting once again tomorrow. Atlanta United in the bye. So we get to watch everybody else do their thing. and it'll be fun to do it. So thanks again for going extra time. Wow. And we really did go over this morning, but that's okay. Once again, Alex, before we go, apparently, who is Fort Lauderdale United? Okay, that is the women's professional USL Super League. Okay, that's the Super League in Fort Lauderdale. Got it. Okay. So they now have Fort Lauderdale United. They have a logo, and it has been released. Symbol of unity, diversity. Crest reflects the canals. The suns glint on our waters while the colors pay homage to our iconic beaches. So hashtag We Are FTL. And that was released this morning. So FTL UTD. And they are up and running in Fort Lauderdale. So they got the website. They got everything. So, yeah, the USL Super League is now Fort Lauderdale United, first women's professional soccer team in Fort Lauderdale. Let's see. Let me see where they are playing. Do we have ticketing FAQ as I sit here and click on it? They're going to play at Nova Southeastern. I'm going to play at Nova Southeastern in Davie. And so that's where they're going to be playing. They don't have their gear out yet. And Nova Southeastern in Davie. Plans for a modernized stadium and on-site training facilities in partnership with Nova Southeastern in Davie. So there you go. You can shop. Okay, so let's double check as we go down the rabbit hole to wrap up the show, and we look at FTL UTD. Hats and T-shirts look like they're $30, and the sweatshirts are $65. So there you go. FTLUTD.com. The natural rivalry with Tampa Bay Sun and FTL UTD with our friend Christina Uncle. So that'll be fun. But yeah, tomorrow we'll be back at it 9:05. Go through everything from the morning. Might be the old Dolphin training ground, according to Abby. So back at it 9:05. Beyond Goals at 9:30. Stephen Glass at 10 o'clock. Weekend Whip around at 10:30. So we'll be flying through what's going on with what's going on your Friday, getting you ready for the weekend. Very, very busy weekend. And remember, tomorrow at 5:30 and 7:30, it is North Gwinnett at Peachtree Ridge. That'll be the Friday game of the week on SDH, presented by our friends at Kaiser Permanente and all the other great sponsors that we have. It is Subaru of Gwinnett. It is Hard Rock by Reverb. It is Alliance Nurse Corps. It is TechLink. And it is US Soccer and ussoccer.com. Get your tickets for the She Believes Cup, April 6th, so we can fill out the lower bowl at 43,000 folks. So thanks for hanging out with us for, an extra 17 minutes. Mucho platiel, play it safe. It's the end of the show. So that means I get to do this. We'll be back at it again tomorrow morning, and maybe we'll have some more news break. We'll see what happens. Since it's the end of the show, that means I get to do this. We'll see you tomorrow.